Top 5 things to do in D&D that sound super fun to do, but rarely are. First up, splitting the party. Just don't do it. By splitting the party, you are effectively pressing pause for everyone else not involved in your little scheme. And I swear the people who always tend to do this are the rogues of the party. And to be fair, it's not always the rogue's fault that the party splits, because sometimes the party comes to a crossroads and decides that it's better if they split up to cover more ground. But it's more fun if you don't split the party and include everyone in whatever sort of scheme you have going on, rather than not. Next up though, mazes. As a GM who has used multiple mazes in the past for my adventures and campaigns, let me be the first to admit that while mazes sound like a great idea in practice and prep for your game sessions, they're normally not very fun for the players. If they're too small, they're completely pointless and you can kind of brute force them without any real effort. If they're too big, the players lose interest super quickly, and if they're super complicated, then your players get frustrated. But I will say that if you use a virtual tabletop and decide to use a maze, it makes them a little more bearable. Regardless though, don't use them. Or if you do decide to use them because you can't help yourself, then maybe use them once in a long-term campaign, if at all. And speaking of things that can suck up way too much time and end up not being fun because of that, puzzles or riddles. This joke has been made time and time again, but if you design a puzzle or a riddle for your session that is above the 3rd grade level, then most likely it's too difficult and will take up way more time than you could have ever possibly imagined. But trust me, most groups would enjoy a more simpler or less complicated riddle or puzzle that maybe takes 10 to 15 minutes maximum than super complicated ones that take up the entire session time just to get through the door. And if you're worried about your group solving the puzzle too easily, then don't be, because trust me, there's always that one token player in every group that overthinks every puzzle and every riddle and throws a wrench in the other player's ideas and maybe makes them second guess their solution. So just keep it simple. But now, the second to last thing that sounds like fun in D&D but really isn't, being max level. Now I guess it's not never fun to be max level or level 20 in D&D, but after you get to level 20 a couple of times, being a demigod gets kind of boring, you know what I mean? Encounters take forever, especially if you have multiple spellcasters in your party, because at this level, the GM either has to throw demon lords, deities, or huge hordes of enemies at you in order for you to feel something. And once you've experienced being in a party with a max level wizard who has too many spells to know what to do with and doesn't prepare for their turn, be prepared to see a lot of this for basically 5 minutes every round. And while being level 20 demigods is really sick, don't get me wrong, after a bit the thrill and power fantasy begin to slowly fade away, and you'll be longing for the thrill that you get when you fight a group of goblins at level 1. And the final thing that sounds like fun in D&D but really isn't, making a joke character. In all my years of being a game master, every single player that has made a joke character or a character that was meant to abuse a rule or class feature for the sake of a joke has asked to change their character after about 4 or 5 sessions. Because it gets boring, or you realize that doing the shrill, scratchy voice that you based your character bobbling the goblin around is more pain than it is fun, and it got old really quick. So there you have it.